closest. I think that as race drivers, we get we don't get jaded about it, but we're pretty mercenary. We drive the fastest things we can, right? If there's a check with it and you're in the right car, but really the origin of it is still passion, isn't it? To do it as long as you have 20 years now.
Well, yeah, I've actually raced for 32 years in total, but the 20 years point is it's actually been 20 years now since I've been first racing with Michelin, back in 1997, and every year since then I was always racing, whether it be in Formula One or Le Mans or here in the US in the American launch. It's always the Michelin tyres. And you said about the passion. When I started karting when I was 11 years old, it was just the enthusiasm, the natural enthusiasm, enjoyment of driving. And later it developed to the enthusiasm, enjoyment, and passion for winning. And thankfully there was a few on the way. But what was also very important for me was it wasn't just my passion, it was also all of the engineers, including the engineers from Michelin, because together we needed to build the right tyres and the right car and the right combination to be able to give us the chance of those successes. And you see it every time we got to the circuit, every time when you came to the first test or a tyre test, when we had something new to try out, that just the enthusiasm was infectious by everybody. But you're right, passion is at the heart of it, and it's at the heart of it from the first day I raced until the last day I raced.
Keanu, you didn't start out as a bike guy, did you? You like cars. You made your way to Hollywood. You do all right, and you start to.
Yeah, I did okay, and still
get
trying.
some
but
fast things.
yeah, but I started riding motorcycles when I was 22 years old, and that experience was a revelation to me. Riding motorcycles and then starting to customize motorcycles, and that's where I met Gard Hollinger, who became a partner with me in Arch Motorcycling. We've been building motorcycles for a couple of years now. It took 3 years to develop a motorcycle, and part of the reason that we're here in terms of being connected with Michelin is that we had to find a tire for our motorcycle, and we built a big twin, American V-twin motorcycle, which we call a performance cruiser. And part of the reason that we can call it that is because of, we're ending up, we were using the Commander 2 tire. Well, we tested a bunch of tires, and then, we were trying to kind of design like this beautiful, like almost a perfect motorcycle experience. The feeling, the sound, the aesthetic. And with searching for a tire, we discovered that tire. And as the relationships continued, they have a new tire, the Power RS, which we're going to put on a new model. But that experience of having the right tire, when it worked on our motorcycle, it was like heaven. Just like, it works, So.
God, you had the, I guess more from the engineering point of view. Obviously, you're pretty much self-taught just by passion all the way through from a young age, right? But for you, that moment must have been pretty good when you put on a set of tires that actually, like car engineers, I think, work out as well. There's a moment, there's little faults in the car or the bike. You put the right tires on, and suddenly some of them go away.
Yeah, I mean, I think you don't always know it until you feel it, right? I mean, sometimes you're struggling with what you have to work with, and then there is that aha moment when it's like, all of a sudden, how did it get so much better? Right?
I mean, of course, the motorcycle community is avidly as passionate as the car one. I think that's back to Keanu, really. The LA thing, the Hollywood thing is one world, but there's something in essentially pure about the passion for performance, isn't it? I mean, do you enjoy that a lot? Because the people around cars and bikes, there's no bull. It's for real.
Yeah, it's great to live in Los Angeles and to have the car and motorcycle culture there. I mean, we've got Sunset to PCH into the Santa Monica Mountains, but I know everyone here probably has their favorite road or the roads that they love, and there's nothing like being able to do those rides and to share it with your friends. And I just feel really lucky to be able to do that, and also be riding a motorcycle that we built. It's pretty awesome.
God, when you started out in building bikes and things, technology obviously is advancing so fast.
Yeah, we had wooden tires.
Wooden tires, yeah. No, I mean, you're going to see his bikes out there tomorrow. They are beautiful, but however sort of retro they look in one way, you've incorporated technology that is very clever, and of course getting that message out there is probably half the key. But the bikes are very, very clever.
Thank you. You know, it is interesting to see how much tire technology has changed over time. And you think about on a motorcycle, we only have those two wheels and tires, you know, between us and the pavement, right? So it's nice to be involved with a company like Michelin that has so much passion. And I was also struck by the passion that everybody that works for the company seems to have, you know? Kind of exciting to see that enthusiasm.
And of course it trickles all the way down, because when we see it at the racetrack, those guys in the middle of the night at Daytona in the rain and the cold, way colder than this, they have to have a bit of passion too. So we see it all the way through. Fraser, I mentioned about the Astons out there tomorrow. There are car companies, and then there's car companies, right? That some have the most beautiful design. You happen to work for one of the ones that has the most beautiful design. I've always heard there's a bit of like give and take between engineering and design, correct? Because they want one thing and you know it needs another.
Yeah, they actually call it creative tension within the business. So basically, the guys that work in design, we also call them the crayon fairies. They basically come along with all the shapes. They come up with what you actually want the car to look like, and they always come up with things that look absolutely amazing. You then come to the point of actually working out how you can turn this into reality, and then you end up getting into the creative tension. I think one of the best things of working with Aston Martin is that passion and the fact that you have the guys on one side of the fence that are trying to make it look amazing, and you trying to bring it into reality. And it does make conflict, but it always makes a better car at the end of the day.
And of course, something that as a layman, because I'm not an engineer in any sense of the word, you're really only able to build cars that go faster because of partnerships with people like Michelin, right? Because you can't have a car on tires that can't match up to the performance levels.
So completely, I mean, obviously, as a car company, we'd always claim ourselves to be completely uncompromising, but the department that I run is a special project, so we can be completely uncompromising. And as a kind of a partnership and as a choice of all the vehicles that we've done over the past few years, every time, we always select Michelin. It is the tire to go.
Ben obviously gets, he actually now, I think, has the best job of us all, because, you know, from racing through, it's good not wearing that bloody awful white helmet anymore, though, right? It is, yeah. You can talk, you can do it. But you also do all the movies, and I guess with all the, it's made you very popular, you've got a great fan base. You tap into the popular side of our sport, and you get to drift cars for, I mean, is it as much fun as it looks? Because it looks a really good job.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks, especially with Michelin tyres on, you can drift a lot faster. And it's nice seeing Fraser after these years. I'm glad he still talks to me, because first time we met was on my first James Bond film, doing stunt driving on that, and we destroyed 12 of his cars. So it's really nice that he'll sit next to me and we can share those memories. And we burned through 160 sets of tyres, I think, in those rehearsals, which was just generally having a great time. So it's as fun as it looks. I've been privileged to get to test so many different cars. When I was working on Top Gear, it was 3 or 4 cars a week, everything from the Morris Minor to Bugatti Veyron on the Michelin Supersport tyre, and everything, you know, it's a real variety. But the movies in particular, you get to do some really gratuitous stuff and get paid for it. So I'm very lucky.
Perfect. Well, last question for you, Alan. This was your first trip out to Thermal, right? So it's a very impressive facility. We have the hot laps in the afternoon, and some people may have been on racetracks here, I'm sure a lot of you have. But it really is a very cool experience tomorrow afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, you'll enjoy it. There's no question about it. It makes you smile. Even if you don't smile very often, this will definitely make you smile. I think there's a couple of things about the circuit is that it's quite technical. It's got some corners that really ask you to attack into them. There's a long left hander that you just have to sit in, and it would normally be a tyre killer because it's so long and it's so fast. And there you can actually feel the grip of the car and grip of the tyre and how they're working together, and you get the feedback of them as well. But ultimately, it is a really beautiful facility, fantastic track, And what more can we ask for? You know, talking about us and the passion and everything else. We've got an afternoon where we can go and thrash cars and drive them as fast as we can and understand them. But the most important thing, I think, is that we're able to do it, and we're able to do it with the right people in the right car and the right tyres.
And well said. And also other people's tyres. That's a very important component of this. When you don't have to pay for the damage you just done. A big round of applause for our VIPs up here. Thanks so much, guys, for braving the cold. The great thing is about the